Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, July 25, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's black in your ear recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future weather in your specific area. Alright, so we need to highlight some insight here from Ben Knoll. He is actually a global weather writer meteorologist for the Washington Post, who from time to time makes some very accurate posts here on X about what's expected across the Atlantic. So he stated, today there will be several opportunities for tropical development in the Atlantic during August. Quick pulses of early month convection will create environmental conditions that are more conducive to storms, followed by a possible mid-month wave that lingers over Africa. And this is the map that he highlighted. As we know, the greens into the blues represents rising air, which basically means it's easier for these thunderstorms of tropical waves to easily become tropical depressions, if not tropical storms or hurricanes. While the oranges into the greens represent sinking air, basically the opposite of that, making it hard for it to rain, making it harder for us to get systems in general. So we're looking at the time period from July 25, that's today, all the way out to August. Look at this. We're going all the way out to at least August 18. So starting at July 25, we can see that there is some amount of rising air, first of all, across the Western Pacific. It makes sense considering that we have 3 systems over there right now. We also see a lot of rising air across Australia. We see a lot of rising air across South America into portions of the main development region. Interesting. And we have numerous tropical waves out there as we speak. Let's continue. Heading into August 2, the week of August 2, a lot of sinking air dominating the northern portion of the world in general, extending from the eastern to the central Pacific all the way over into the Atlantic, Africa, the Indian Ocean. A lot of sinking air, while all of the rising air seems to be situated across portions of Australia, those countries to the direct north of Australia, not to mention portions of South America. Does continue as we head into the week of August 10. Still seeing a lot of sinking air across the central to the eastern Pacific, all the way over into the Caribbean. But look at that, we see rising air across the eastern portion of the main development region, the Africa. We see it extending all the way over into Africa, central to the eastern portion, even across portions of the Indian Ocean and the Western Pacific once again. And then finally, we're looking at the week of August 18. This is what he's stating, that all the way over into the mid-month, we're still going to be seeing all of that rising air sitting on top of Africa. Definitely going to be sending more tropical waves from east to west in this fashion for sure. And thus, coming out over here in the main development region. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this August actually plays out, even although we have a lot of sinking air that's expected for that time frame across the Caribbean into the eastern to the central Pacific. We have to pay close attention to see exactly what unfolds. And Ben even highlighted another post right here stating African easterly wave season is ramping up. These storm seedlings emerge from Africa's Sahel region from June to October and are key factors in the development of hurricanes. Models are picking up on a stronger wave next week that bears watching into early August. And he highlighted a global map right here, basically showing the main development region. And we see a lot of activity pushing through the main development region. We've been talking a lot about this one right in here that could develop. See a lot of people talking about it, even another wave behind it that stops right here at the end of the run in the eastern Caribbean. Very interesting indeed. Interesting times ahead. We have to pay close attention. It is hurricane season. Let's see if we actually get something to formulate over there. Regarding the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:19 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:19 p.m. Jamaica time, we see that nothing is here to speak of. That area that had a chance of development in the northern Gulf now has a 0% chance of cyclone development. So by the next time they put up the 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook around 1 a.m., there is possibly nothing out there to show. And this is the reason why the Atlantic definitely quiet. Most of the convection associated with that code yellow across portion of Texas and the other southern United States. We see convection associated with a tropical wave right here to the west of Jamaica affecting the Central America area, another tropical wave somewhere in here. We see a lot of moisture across Africa, a lot of these associated with the intertropical convergence zone right down in here as well. Regarding the Eastern Pacific, oh, by the way, if we do get something to form, the next name on the list is Dexter. It doesn't seem like we're going to be getting Dexter anytime soon, but look at the Eastern Pacific. We have two code oranges, one right here. We've been talking about this one to the southeast of Hawaii that has a 50% chance now of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 60% chance within the next 7 days. Another one right here closer to the Mexican coastline has a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 40% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And if we take a look at the infrared right here, we can see all of the clouds, the showers, and the thunderstorms associated with the area that could develop as it passes to the south of Hawaii, and the other area right down in here associated with what could develop as it passes to the south and west of Mexico. I want to know that if something should form, the next two names on the list are Gil and Henriette. However, on the western Pacific side of things, first of all, we're still looking at the Indian Ocean. Still have a lot of clouds situated across portions of Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, associated with monsoons. Definitely getting in a lot of rainfall, even though they don't have any cyclones, any storms over there. The clouds are just sitting on top of there. A lot of rainfall, a lot of flooding taking place over there daily. But on the western Pacific side of things, we still have three systems that bear watching. A tropical depression, so it downgraded from that tropical storm Kome as it passed across portions of the northern Philippines. We also have tropical depression Francisco right over here to the east of China, and we have tropical storm Croza right to the southeast of all of that. And if we take a look at the infrared right here, I guess we can make out some of these. Francisco somewhere in here. I think Kome is somewhere in here, and to the south of that we have Crow. Southeast of that we have Croza somewhere in there. All of these systems definitely lighting up the western Pacific as we speak. We can see the system right here, that's tropical depression Kome, expected to push out towards the northeast. Right now it's still a tropical depression. One of the tropical depressions pack winds close to 33 knots, as you can see here. It's expected to push through the southern Japanese islands. Regarding the other tropical system, that's Francisco, it's right here passing to the north of Taiwan, pushing out towards west into China. It's packing maximum sustained winds of 25 knots, so it's definitely decreasing in intensity as we speak, and it's expected to lose all of that tropical depression intensity by tomorrow, where it's expected to be going back down to 20 knot in terms of the strength. And regarding this system, that's tropical storm Croza, the strongest one on the globe as we speak, we can clearly see that it is packing maximum sustained winds of 45 knots, and it's expected to increase as we continue throughout the next couple of days. 50 knots, 60 knots, 65 knots, and we know it's anywhere from 65 to 83 knots that make it a category 1 hurricane, or in this case a typhoon. So clearly you see that it's going to be passing to the east of Japan. Doesn't even seem like it's going to be passing east, it's just pushing northward, then pushing northeastward. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, all of this moisture across the western Pacific into the Philippines, into China. For reference, we have the Philippines right down in here. We have China right in here. We have Taiwan right here. We have Japan right here. We have North and South Korea right in here. We have Russia right in here. Just a little geography for you before we show you what's taking place. We see a lot of moisture associated with Kome that made landfall in the Philippines yesterday, and as such we have some footage to show, and we even have footage based on what was taking place in China as well. So this is from Weather Monitor. Stating this afternoon, an elderly man riding his motorcycle fell into deep waters on a road in Barangay Banate, Libertad, Loilo, Philippines. And it looks so AI, I couldn't believe that it's actually real. Look at that. This is not AI. Imagine riding your bike and then falling into a whole ditch of floodwaters, and then it's a lucky thing that he had some people around him to save him for sure, boy. But these things do happen, and I'm glad that he got the help that he needed, because that was crazy for sure. I mean, this is the thing that you see on AI. You see a lot of things like this, but this one is the real deal, and it just came out what this morning. This is 3:58 a.m. By that time it was sunny and hot in the Philippines. You know, when it's nighttime here, it's daytime bright over there. We also have another video right here from Volcaholic stating a landslide hit Camp 3 in Akhupan, Itogan, Benguet, Philippines earlier today. Thankfully, no injuries or casualties have been reported so far. And you can see the landslide. This is one of my biggest fears, living close to a hill, and then a lot of the land is starting to slide down with you. We see a lot of silt, a lot of rocks coming down, a lot of flooding taking place, all because of the heavy rainfall that has been taking place across the Philippines recently. Another one right here stating how awful for their big day. In the Philippines, a couple married knee deep in floodwaters after heavy rain submerged their church. I mean, look at this. Imagine getting married and your whole wedding is underwater. That's crazy. Look at all those shoes on the chairs, all because of the crazy amount of rainfall that's been taking place across the Philippines because of all of these systems. This was 10:46 a.m. This was posted at around 10:46 a.m. this morning, and this is just crazy. Another one right here from Volcaholic, 448 millimeters of rainfall fell just 12 hours as extreme storms hit Yi County in China, Hebei province earlier on July 25, triggering a record-breaking flood. And we have the footage right in here. A lot of inundation taking place for sure. Look at the running water, and I'm pretty sure that these are streets and not riverbeds at all. Another one right in here. We know when it rains, it pours in China, and they've definitely been getting in on a lot of flooding over there recently. Another one right here. Severe flash flooding broke out in Fuping County, Hebei Province, China. Look at these vehicles being washed away in the flood. This is just ridiculous. A lot of things happening over in the Western Pacific, and I guess that's it. Alright, taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have somewhat of a tropical wave across the Central Caribbean. Let's see if we actually get some rainfall out of it tomorrow. Even although the models are showing something, we'll see. We have another tropical wave right here to the east of the Caribbean, another tropical wave to the east of that one, and we see a tropical wave right here that's currently to the east of the Cabo Verde Islands. And we know ridges of high pressure are definitely to the north of all of this, that are responsible for sending all of these tropical waves from east to west. Within these tropical waves, we have some moisture, and we have some Saharan dust embedded within them. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost the sunlight, I think we can make out the clouds associated with that tropical wave somewhere in here. Definitely bring some moisture to portion of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico in a way. We can also see the other tropical wave that's to the east of the Caribbean, the other tropical wave that's to the east of that tropical wave. And there's supposedly another tropical wave right in here. And we can clearly see all of the low to mid-level clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. It's a bit upsetting though that a lot of moisture associated with another tropical wave pushed to the south of Jamaica instead of coming onshore. and all of this piled up across the Western Caribbean. So the Cayman Islands, the Yucatan, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, they definitely got nailed today. I mean, look at the infrared. A lot of thunderstorms right off to our west, just to show that a lot of moisture has been quickly passing to our south. Very upsetting indeed. We're not getting the rainfall in eastern and central Jamaica at all. All of it's just passed us by today. Alright. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbeans with it later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, July 25, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of eastern Jamaica, as well as sections of some northern and western parishes during the afternoon. So eastern Jamaica in the morning, northern and western Jamaica during the afternoon. We know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Western Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawny, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. While northern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawny, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. And what ended up happening? Just to show you that these models aren't 100% accurate at all. The rainfall that was predicted for the east, non-existent. The rainfall that was predicted for northern Jamaica, non-existent. But western Jamaica, of course, gotten on their fair share of isolated thunderstorms. More specifically, more so Westmoreland. Westmoreland was the receiver of today's rainfall. As you can see, they got it in the early afternoon and they got it in the late afternoon. We were beginning to lose the sunlight. We see the white cloud, we see the sparkling yellow dust that represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. All of these posted to our Twitter page with the Jamaica, as well as on our Instagram page with the .Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. And you can see the visible satellite imagery of Jamaica even better. Let me load it up quickly, showing the whole time frame, the 50. Let's see if I can get it to load. Alright, so there we go. So we definitely had rainfall mainly across section of Westmoreland today, maybe far northwestern St. Elizabeth, but definitely mainly Westmoreland for sure. That was where the brunt of today's rainfall was, as you can see there. And even while we're losing the sunlight, we're still getting on some rainfall across southern coastal Westmoreland. And even the infrared confirming the thunderstorm activity. All of the blues, greens, all of the reds represent some amount of cumulonimbus cloud cover, not to mention the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. That's just so that thunderstorm activity pushing off towards the west, away from the island. And we have confirmation of what was taking place around the Bagwat Gorge today. Definitely sunny conditions for the most part. People in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place. And the rear Cobra definitely chilling for the time being. And if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the comments that came in today. Let us zoom in and read some of these. We have Randall Green stating, good evening with the Jamaica. We didn't get any rain in Brownstown, St. Anne today, very sunny. Then we have Lawrence Davidson stating, sunny all day in Mobay. Kareen stating, getting some good showers in Westmoreland. Thanks for confirming the rainfall that we saw, Kareen. And I guess that's it for today's comments. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us see what's happening right now. Alright, so the latest still image is showing 0005 UTC, which is actually 7:05 p.m. So this just came out, 5, 10, 15 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:20 p.m. right now. As you can see, there's some leftover clouds from the thunderstorms that lashed portion of Westmoreland, streaking off, all courtesy of the upper level wind shear. We also see some rainfall. Look at this. Some rainfall right here to the east of Portland. Who knows, maybe by the time this video is up, section of Portland is getting in on some amount of rainfall. Let us see of the latest Doppler radar imagery is confirming anything out there. So we're reloading the latest Cuban Doppler radar, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, and the latest Cayman radar to confirm. It looks like the latest Cuban Doppler radar is as of 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 11:30 a.m. Jamaica time. And at that time, we saw some rain bands right here just to the north of St. Mary and Portland. Let's see what the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar is showing. There we go. We see some showers Let us look. We see some shores extending from Haiti. We see the blues into the greens into the yellows. They represent some light moderate, even some slightly heavy rainfall. Right here, extending into portions of the waters towards Portland. So who knows? Maybe by the time this video is up, some rainfall is affecting portions of Portland. The Cayman radar, on the other hand, showing some amount of rainfall right here. Some of that rainfall that exited western Jamaica right in there, pushing out towards the west. We see some rainfall across the waters to the south of Cuba. We see a lot of moisture associated with what the Cayman Islands got today for sure, especially to the west and to the south of that island. And we have the live camera here from Sea Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing what's happening around the Bogwalk Gorge. People in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing to do with bad weather taking place, as you can see there. And that should be the order of the evening. There we go. Another tractor trailer crossing. We have to see how this goes. We're very good at taking out the corners because, boy, lots of blunders that took place this year for sure. Alright. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some grays and some slight blues. That represents average to slightly below average temperatures. I want to know the average temperature for the month of July across Jamaica is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.8 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving anywhere from 31.8 to 32.8 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. And we have at least one maintenance outage advisor here from my GPS Online's Twitter page that we have to highlight. I know that we have to highlight this because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Saturday, July 26, 2025. We're referring to Zion Road, Greenside, as well as Davis Pen and Salt Marsh, all in the parish of Trelawney, from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states there, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugary drinks and drink water instead. The dry air map, as you can see right here, we know the dry air is represented by what we see on the key on the bottom, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and what's in those reds. We see a lot of dry air extending all the way from Africa across the main development region into the Caribbean and the southwestern Atlantic. A lot of dry air that we know is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. But we see a lot of moisture wherever we have the blues. That's where we have most of the clouds, and we see a lot of that across the Gulf, the eastern Pacific into the western and southern Caribbean. So to the main development region of the Atlantic, where we have the intertropical convergence zone. I wish we had more moisture across the basin so that we get more clouds, so that we get more rainfall to keep water in our pipes. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast, we're seeing the Saharan dust definitely dwindling. We're heading into July 26, July 27, and July 28. And as you can see across Jamaica, just some light shades of greens pushing through, blues more than anything else as well. So not really much in the way of Saharan dust at all. We know the vigorous plume of Saharan dust is represented by the oranges into the reds into the pinks. And we don't have much of that, just some Saharan dust pushing through, nothing significant at all to cause hazy skies or trigger respiratory illnesses, asthma or sinusitis in anyone at this time. The wave forecast for tomorrow still showing that the highest waves are right here to the south of Jamaica, to the north of Panama and Colombia. Wherever we have the darkest blues into purples and the pinks, that's a 2 to 2, maybe 3 meter wave height. And that's because of the strong easterly, if not east-northeasterly winds, averaging anywhere from 20 to 25 knots wherever we have the bright greens into the yellows, as we can see here from the key on the bottom right. But regarding Jamaica's wave forecast, doing this for the fishermen on the north coast, To the north of Portland, 1.6 meter wave height. To the north of St. Anne, 1.5 meter wave height. To the north of Hanover, 1.4 meter wave height. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.7 of a meter wave height. To the south of Clarendon, 1 meter wave height. And to the south of St. Thomas, 1.7 meter wave height. So clearly the highest waves, and wherever we have the darkest blues into the purples, right here offshore to the south and the southeast of us. And that's because the strongest winds are down there. Wherever we have the bright greens into the slight yellows, that's the 20 to 25 knot winds for sure. And we see what's expected, even some strong winds on the northwestern side, maybe to the north of Hanover, 17 knots. To the south of St. Thomas, 20 knots. To the south of Clarendon, 18 knots. And wherever we have the least amount of winds, wherever we have the weakest winds, that's where we could have the air piling up across sections of some central and western parishes. That's where we could have those low level clouds becoming mid level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds. And the upper level winds for tomorrow seem to be coming in from the northwest. So if we actually get some thunderstorms across the island tomorrow, maybe those cloud tops will be sheared off towards the southeast, maybe bring more thunderstorms or overcast skies to sections of some southern parishes. So let us look at the actual rainfall forecast. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 a.m. Jamaica time. And what do we see on both maps? What do both maps show? The blues represent rainfall across the waters to the north, as well as across eastern Jamaica. We see some of these blues touching the north coast as well. So it looks like a wet morning for northern and eastern parishes. So it could be maybe St. James, St. Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, getting in on some amount of morning rainfall at that time. Let's see. And then by afternoon, this is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is actually 1 p.m. Jamaica time. What do we see? We see moisture mainly across sections of some central and western parishes, and it looks to be more biased to section of the south side. Look at that rainfall to the east of us. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that rainfall that's to the east of us actually brings rainfall to sections of eastern Jamaica, Portland, St. Thomas at that time. But clearly we have rainfall across central and western parishes. We're talking about maybe sections of Hanover, sections of Westmoreland, southern St. James, St. Elizabeth with those dark blues and greens, interesting. Sections of southern Trelawney, Manchester, sections of Clarendon, southwestern St. Anne, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew. Let us see if we actually get those rainfall amounts that the models are showing, and we'll definitely take it. Even the total accumulated precipitation for the next 24 hours from the Weather News website is showing that there should be rainfall somewhere in Jamaica. The Euro going up to at least 0.16 of an inch of rainfall in the east. The GFS going up to at least 0.39 of an inch of rainfall in the southwest. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of July. And in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive around 50 millimeters of rainfall for the month. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive around 3.2 inches of rainfall for the month. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of July or for the entire year, you can visit www.weatherandclimate.com, and that website to show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we just go to the next one, John 68 hours, that stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. Let's see if we actually see anything else that catches our eye, maybe some kind of low pressure area, maybe a possible tropical depression or storm on both models, that is. Alright, so we just looked at Saturday's forecast. Now it's time to look at Sunday. 12Z on Sunday is actually 7 a.m. What do we see across Jamaica? Not really much of anything. But what does Sunday afternoon look like? We see some greens represent some isolated shores across central and western Jamaica. Let's see if we have the agreement on the GFS. Sunday morning, it looks like some rainfall could be across the north coast. And then on Sunday afternoon, central and western Jamaica with that rainfall too, just like what the Euro was showing. What does Monday morning show? Monday morning shows some rainfall to the southwest of us, maybe some isolated showers across the far eastern end of the island. Monday afternoon, look at that. Eastern, central, and western parishes with that rainfall. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, nothing. Monday afternoon, however, eastern, central, and western parishes with that rainfall, just like what the Euro was showing. What does Tuesday morning show? Tuesday looks like some rainfall to the north of us. On the Euro Tuesday afternoon, central and western parishes. What does the GFS show for Tuesday morning? Maybe some rainfall to the northwest of us. Tuesday afternoon, central and western parishes with that rainfall. That's what Wednesday morning shows. Wednesday morning looks like rainfall should be to the west of us on the Euro. Wednesday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across the far western end of the island. What does the GFS show for Wednesday morning and afternoon? Wednesday morning, it looks like that rainfall is to the west of us and to the north of us. Then on Wednesday afternoon, we see that rainfall across northern and western parishes. And it's definitely noteworthy that we highlight this system right here to the south of Mexico. Could that be the next name on the list? Very interesting, but we don't really see it on the Euro. We see some moisture down there though. Let's see. Let us see what's happening on Thursday morning. Thursday morning, not really much of anything across Jamaica. Thursday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across eastern, southern, and western parishes. And then we're going to be stopping right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Friday, August 1. And we see some moisture right here to the east of the Caribbean. Definitely worthy of being talked about. Don't really see much happening across Jamaica. Just some moisture to the north and south of us. Let's see if we have the same on the GFS. Thursday morning, rainfall across the far eastern end of Jamaica. Thursday afternoon, rainfall across some eastern, southern, and western parishes. And we're stopping it as well at the end of the 168 hours. This is up about Friday, August 1. Don't see much right here to the east of the islands, but I guess in the Euro is a bit faster. Euro has a lot of moisture right here to the east of the islands. GFS looks like some of this moisture is trying to come on the screen right in here. Not here as yet, like where the Euro has it. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, in terms of the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall over the next 7 days. We see the most rainfall by the dark reds into the purples, and the pinks represents 2 to 5 inches of rainfall across sections of Northern South America into Central America, while other areas that are shaded in the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds like the Yucatan, into portions of the Bahamas, the Greater Antilles, into the Lesser Antilles. These areas should be getting in on an inch or less of rainfall. But regarding Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, not much different. The Euro going up to at least 51 millimeters of rainfall in the northwest. GFS going up to at least 54 millimeters of rainfall in the west. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Taking a look at the rest of the Caribbean, as stated, we have a tropical wave right here pushing to the north of the ABC Islands, pushing through from east to west. We see some of that moisture affecting portions of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico as we speak. We also see moisture associated with another tropical wave just to the east of the islands, about to nail portions of the Windward Islands tonight. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images in and around Puerto Rico, just to confirm that they gotten on some amount of rainfall today, we can see the moisture to the north of Puerto Rico affecting the Dominican Republic. We also see some moisture right here affecting portions of the Leeward Islands, section of Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica getting into some of the action. And if we load these images from earlier today, we saw that rainfall that affected eastern, southern, and western Puerto Rico, especially the western end of Puerto Rico, gotten on some decent rainfall. The Barbados radar, on the other hand, confirming that rainfall pushing into portion of Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, sections of Trinidad and Tobago getting on some of that as well. All of this pushing in from east to west. While if we take a look at the Doppler radar images, the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across the Yucatan, some rainfall to the east of Belize, some rainfall into Guatemala, northern Honduras. We also see some rainfall right here across Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall over the next day should be across Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, sections of Guyana, Suriname, even areas from Guadeloupe southward, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, western Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, sections of Haiti, into portion of Jamaica getting us some of that rainfall as well. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast, I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.